Viego has been out for a few weeks now, and he is one of the most polarizing champions in League of Legends. Most players will tell you that Viego is either completely useless or completely broken.
Explain why this character is so fucking stupid. I can tell you without a doubt, even though I love him, he's my favorite character in League of Legends, he is the worst character Riot has ever made.
If you look at Viego's win rates, it seems to be he's more directed towards completely useless. The role that he was originally designed for, which is jungle, sits at an abysmal 46% win rate. His secondary role, top lane, isn't faring much better. While his win rates suggest that the champion isn't very strong, if you look at the pro players and which champions they are picking up, recently almost every single mid lane pro is spamming him and playing him with very high win rates. If you look at Master Tier Plus, he has one of the highest pick ban rates in the entire game. So what makes Viego so good? And why does every Viego you play with suck so much? When a new champion in League of Legends comes out, they often have mechanics that are similar to other champions in the game. Seraphine, for example, is basically a copy-paste Sona with sparkly steroids on her numbers. So Sona players who have a lot of games on her can pick up Seraphine with a little bit of practice. If you're used to hitting Sona ultimate, you'll probably be decent at hitting Seraphine ultimate. We call these transferable skills. There are not a lot of unique mechanics left to be able to put into a game as old as League of Legends without some sort of repetition. Yone, Rel, Samira, Sett, all of these new champions have mechanics that are basically just adjusted abilities that already exist in the game. But Viego is one of those rare champions that actually has something extremely unique to his kit, and it brings something completely new to the game. When a mechanic that has not existed before is added to League of Legends, it's either completely useless or completely broken. So, what exactly is so completely broken about Viego? It is of course his passive, which allows him to possess and become the players that he kills. Now, reset mechanics are not exactly a unique thing to League of Legends. Katarina, Kha'Zix, Pyke, lots of other champions have resets in their kits. But the reason that people who play these champions fail to pick up Viego so easily is because the way you use Viego's resets is nothing like these other champions. If you had to classify Viego as something, you would have to count him as an AD mid lane assassin. But here's the thing about this AD assassin. Viego doesn't really play a team fight like an assassin. Imagine you're playing another reset assassin. What is your dream scenario? Your dream scenario is to find the backline squishy, blow them up, and kill them in half a second before his team can respond so that all of your abilities are reset and you have your full kit ready to go into a 4v5. If you can't find the backline squishies, you sit back, you wait for the CC to be used up, and then you blow up the backline and reset and kill everybody else. Doing that consistently every game isn't easy, but in terms of the strategy, it's fairly simple. If you kill someone, you get to kill more people. Viego isn't so clear-cut. Yes, he can assassinate people pretty decently with a full combo, but he isn't able to one-shot them in half a second like the others can. Unless he's extremely fed, his combo is very hard to blow someone up very quickly. His damage is centered around auto attacks, and while he does have an execution built into his kit, it's not exactly super difficult to dodge. The biggest difference between this AD assassin is that you're not necessarily always going for the squishiest and easiest assassination on the enemy team. Viego's possession passive is not something that just gives him somebody else's abilities, it also gives them their base stats. If you use up all of your abilities on a squishy Senna, then take her stats in the middle of the enemy team, well, you're gonna be in the middle of the team as a squishy Senna, and you'll probably die faster than she did. Viego's passive ghost lasts for 8 seconds after the person he's killing dies. So you don't necessarily need to take the ghost right after you kill the person. The best part of Viego's passive is not the fact that you get a reset onto somebody else's abilities, rather it's the fact that you're untargetable for a full second before you take that person. That is extremely valuable in a fight if you use it properly. Most Viego players right now just go right into their ghost without thinking about the consequences. They think that if they just get a reset, it means they'll get to do more, which is not always the case. Even if you one-shot a squishy champion and take their build, if they're behind, you might actually end up doing less damage than if you were in your regular form. The champions that Viego wants to possess the most are not necessarily the champions that he has the easiest time killing. Most of the time, the best champions that Viego benefits the most from are actually tanky frontliners and bruisers. Viego himself builds high damage items like Kraken Slayer, Blade of the Ruin King, and Trinity Force. So early on, Viego is not going to be naturally tanky. Assassins often have to wait for their team and their frontline to be able to burn key abilities from the enemy team so that they can safely go in and kill the backliners. If you are the frontline as Viego, you can do that job yourself. And since you're in the middle of the team fight, you're already on top of a squishy champion. The biggest part of Viego's possession that is overlooked is the fact that Viego himself gets to retain the levels that he already has. If you're several levels up on the enemy team and you take a tanky support like Alistar or Leona, you're going to be an overleveled Alistar or Leona. Even though supports generally have less gold generation than the rest of the team, if you are overleveled as a bruiser, you're just going to have more natural tankiness than other champions. It is extremely hard for an ADC to survive if they have to deal with an Alistar that turns into an AD assassin in the middle of his combo. Even though Viego doesn't get to use his ultimate, he still gets to retain his Blade of the Ruin King passive on all of these champions. So in many cases, Viego possessed is actually often stronger than the original champion themselves. So in most situations, you're actually going to be focusing the champion that would be most useful to you for the rest of the team fight. So when people say things like focus the AD carry no matter what, that's not necessarily the correct play every single time with Viego. This is the main reason that reset players are having such difficult time picking Viego up. They keep playing him like the other resetters. As long as I get one kill, I'll get another. And if I get that one, I'll get another one. That doesn't work like that on Viego. You get one good kill, and you'll get another one. You get another good kill, and you'll kill everybody else. That's what separates good and bad Viego players. And this should probably be obvious, but no one is going to be good at every single champion in the game. Even for pro players whose jobs require them to have large champion pools, even they have difficulty remembering all the proper combo sequences of every single champion that they possess. Viego's win rate mid currently sits at 50%, and it has been steadily climbing since his release. It's clear from this statistic that as players get better and better at Viego, his power becomes more and more obvious. Just because a champion is difficult to play does not mean he is by any means weak. And if I've learned anything about studying one tricks over the years, it is that people will put thousands and thousands of games to make sure that their Viego is the best one out there. For your build on Viego, we're going to be focusing mostly on mid lane, but the build is fairly similar for jungle Viegos as well. Start either D-Blade or D-Shield depending on your matchup. For ranged harassers, you go D-Shield. For melee and 1v1 matchups, you go D-Blade. If you want more sustain, or if you're in a 1v1 matchup that lasts a little bit longer, you can rush Bork as your first item. As an overall laner, Viego is fairly mediocre. He's not extremely oppressive like some assassins such as Fizz, but he can do some fairly nice trading combos of his own. The best trading combo on Viego is the WE combo. Viego's W, Spectral Maw, takes time to charge up. The longer the charge, the longer the stun duration is. But this ability is fairly easy to dodge if you're watching Viego charge it up. If you press and hold W and immediately hit E right afterwards, you will instantly go invisible, and that will give you a major advantage in making sure that you hit your W for an easy trade. W, auto attack, Q, auto attack, and with this, you'll have enough hits to be able to proc Conqueror. You can also animation cancel an auto attack with your E at the same time. For your mythic item, you can go either Kraken Slayer or Trinity Force. Kraken Slayer provides the best amount of quick burst for Viego. The 2-hit passive on his Q makes him proc Kraken Slayer extremely fast compared to most other champions. The Spellblade passive on Trinity Force is also very strong, but will take a little bit more time to get more value out of him than Kraken Slayer. The crit component on Kraken Slayer also allows you for some random bursts throughout a fight. Finish your boots somewhere between your first and second item, then go into a moderate bruiser tank build. Death Stance or Spirit Visage based on the enemy composition, Although Steric's Gauge has been significantly nerfed, it is still a fairly decent item for Viego overall. If you're extremely ahead, you can buy the Collector because it helps your executes even more. And for your last item, you can go either GA or Wit's End depending on the enemy composition. For your abilities, max Q, E, then W. For your runes, you want to take this Conqueror page. It is consistently the most amount of damage. You can change out Legend Alacrity for Legend Tenacity depending on the team matchup. And you can also change out Taste of Blood with Sudden Impact if you want a little bit more sustain in the lane. Press the Attack is slightly better for short trades and bursts, but Conqueror is so easy to proc on Viego that most people just take that anyway. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and share this video. It does really help me with my reach. If you have a specific video that you would like me to do, you can participate in our community polls to see what next video I'm going to be working on. You can hit the notification bell to see exactly when my polls and my new videos are going to be coming up. You can follow me on Discord and Twitter to see more updates as well. And you can email me directly at donghuaplol@gmail.com for any direct inquiries. That's it. Bye.